Welcome back to KHTS, where the Mom Show lives at lunch from 12 to 1 on Thursdays. We go live, and hi, if you're on Facebook, we are live on Facebook, so you can kind of see behind the scenes. If my voice sounds familiar at all to you, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, am I late for work? It's because normally I was on the radio at 6 a.m. as you were driving to work in Los Angeles. Thanks to Coast 103.5, it was the Mark and Kristin show every morning. And all that Christmas music, that was all me. I apologize, or I'm your best friend, depending on how you feel about Christmas music. So now here on Thursdays, 12 to 1, it is the Mom Show. I've taken my mommy blog and put it on the radio thanks to the hometown station. So hometownstation.com is where you can listen if you're going indoors and you're going to be on your computer. You want to take us with you? You can listen live. And we've got great guests today. All right, it is back to school, but because the kids are already in school mostly, right? Mostly, we can talk more about that on Facebook. We can have a discussion if you're, or I can send you a lifeline or whatever you need. Do you need a rescue? Or are you still at home with the kids? Has it been so long? But most of us have the kids in school, so now we can start moving on, talking about some other things. We've got on the show today, Kate Casey, host of The Reality Life with Kate Casey. It's a podcast that I highly recommend. She was just on the Jenny McCarthy show. We have so much reality TV to catch up with, and she's my go-to person. She's started to become everybody's go-to person. Now I'm getting jealous, kind of feeling like she's cheating on me. That's a whole reality show on its own. But she will be up first on the Mom Show. Then we'll check in with one of my dear friends, Jill Simonian from CBS2 here in Los Angeles. She's also known as the Fab Mom. She created thefabmom.com, a parenting resources website to keep you focused after baby. That's what FAB stands for. She's got a new book out, and we're going to talk a little bit about Breastfeeding Awareness Month. That's what August is, and some moms opt out of breastfeeding, and we're going to talk about that too, and a moment that we had to bonding over that we should definitely share with you. Leslie, we are so excited to talk to Sheila Morovati. She started Crayon Collection, which is a wonderful organization that finds all those leftover, unused, half-used crayons that maybe you go to dinner with your kids at a restaurant, right, and you use some of those crayons, you just leave them there. Well, Sheila had a great idea of going to all these restaurants, collecting all these unused crayons because there are kids in schools here in our city that need them. So she did something about it. It's called crayoncollection.org, and we'll have her talking with you today. Let's see, we have 2 days away. So on Saturday, I want you to start making some plans because we're going to do some crayon collecting in our neighborhoods, and we'll tell you exactly how to do that here on The Mom Show. So right now, on the phone with us, it's Kate Casey from Reality Life with Kate Casey. Hello, dear. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? What's going on?
I am so happy that I didn't scare you off from last week because I didn't think well, first of all, you're so big time. You were on the Jenny McCarthy show, who I love. Did you guys do that show yet?
Yeah, we do a lot, actually.
You do?
We cover a lot of shows. She's obsessed with The Bachelor as much as I am, but the best part is that so is her husband. So sometimes when I'm on, we talk with Donnie as well, which is a pisser. I always think, and I say this a lot on my show, is that when I can make a man watch a reality show, that their reactions make me laugh sometimes harder than anything.
Oh my gosh.
And Donnie Wahlberg is like super committed to The Bachelor. He is, but he's got really good insight. I think sometimes Jenny's a little bit naive in the beginning, but he always can spot out the loser. Like he knew from the beginning that she was going to choose Brian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so you need to fill. So I love that you're on her show. I think she's fabulous. And I know she has really led the charge in parenting for speak your mind and say what you believe in for your family and do what you're going to do. And you know, she's been awesome. Some parenting stuff has been very polarizing. Something I think has challenged people to educate themselves, which is always a good thing. And I love listening to her. I think she's hilarious ever since I was a teenager watching her on MTV, pushing people around on that dating show. That was
such a great show.
I
love that show.
Such a great show. And that was really kind of one of the beginnings of these dating reality shows. So, segue, Bachelor in Paradise. So, what I'm hearing is Devon Jackson found some love. And while he was there, like actually bonded with somebody. This is the big buzz that he has some new BFF. I don't know. All I know is this whole situation is controversial, and I'm afraid to touch it.
Who are you talking know, Devon Johnson.
I
What are
don't.
you talking about?
I heard that. Okay, here it is. We're a Bachelor in Paradise castmate. Here we go. Demario Jackson. Who's Devon Johnson?
I'm like, who the hell
I
is
said
Devon?
Jackson though.
Okay,
But that's
no.
Yes.
You need to get on board.
Okay.
Demario,
See, I don't know.
Okay, so I'll give you the scoop. So
Thank
Demario
you.
and Corinne, within 20 minutes, 30 minutes of showing up on the island, they were already inebriated, and they ended up getting like a full makeout session in the pool. No one really knows how far it went, but I think it went pretty far, maybe past third base.
Okay.
And there was.
Don't make me have to put like an explicit radio show sticker on my on my show here. Yes.
So basically, what happened was that they shut down production because the things went a little got a little out of hand.
Right.
So they had to review the tapes and make sure nothing was beyond the bounds of what's appropriate on television or
legal. Yeah.
If you will.
Yes.
So they reviewed the tapes. They found nothing was wrong. So they resumed production. So the first episode was a little bit of a downer because you see people on the island and then you see that they left. And the second episode, which they aired right the next day, just to make things clear, they gathered the people that were going to go back on the show, and they had this like sexual education class basically. So it was a little bit depressing. But rest assured that the shows that will come in the following weeks are going to be super juicy. Okay. Very juicy. So, I don't know if there was enough time for people to make long and lasting relationships. Last season, Evan and Carly met on the island. They got engaged. They're now married and having a baby. Of course, there were two other couples that got engaged, and shocking to no one, they didn't work out. Because it's not normal to meet on an island to make out for 30 days straight while you have had copious amounts of tequila and think it's going to last. So if you want a good show for just like, great people watching, and it will not end up with love, then watch Bachelor in Paradise.
Right, exactly. That is good people watching. That's like just sitting at the mall people watching, which I love to do. You can find me there every afternoon. Okay, so Kate, I have to say applause to Lifetime. I know tonight is the Project Runway premiere, I believe, the new season, and they are showcasing models of all sizes, which I think is awesome.
Well, it's funny you say that because last night I watched a show also on Lifetime, which is before Project Runway now, I believe. It's called Growing Up Supermodel, and it's a new show, and they showcase kids of supermodels from like the 80s and 90s, and not all of them are perfect.
Is that like,
so,
wow.
Kelly LeBrock's daughter is a plus-size model, and she's Kelly LeBrock and Steven Seagal's daughter. And she's beautiful, and she's a plus-size, and they have two of Ricky Schroeder's daughters. Krista Allen's son, Beverly Peel's daughter, and if you look at them, they're not totally perfect. Which is great because I feel like sometimes in these magazines people look just unreasonably abnormal.
Yeah.
And they also, I think that the good thing about the show is that these people have personalities. Oh, and it's also Sheena Moakler's and Oscar De La Hoya's daughter, Atiana. So. Here's the weird thing. I think this is a good question for your listeners, is that the girls were saying on the show Growing Up Supermodel that in order to be a model now, you have to have an enormous amount of followers on Instagram. So I just feel like it made me sad to think that if you're from the Midwest and you're from a small little tiny town and you're gorgeous and you would be an excellent model, you're at an incredible disadvantage because your parents don't happen to be famous. Yeah. So how is that fair? And also, the pressure that a 20-year-old has to get, 25,000 likes for a picture is just gross to me. It's disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really ridiculous. Like, kids don't have enough things to stress out about. I mean, with going back to school happening right now, we're all worried about our kids, not just like that they have the right, lunches packed for them for healthy bodies. We want them to get a good teacher. All the teachers do such great work, but we really want them to learn what they need to learn in life. But also, we're worried about their emotions. We're sending them into school, and I mean, as we've said before, I think I've talked to you about this, like, girls are mean. Mean girls
I know.
For real exist. And so they've already got all these pressures and comparisons, and then you flip through Instagram, and it's just unfair. And Kylie Jenner's Instagramming her foot and getting 40 million likes. How do you compete with
But, you
that?
know, I also watched her show, the premiere last week of Life of Kylie.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she seems to be a very sad and lonely person. The only people that she's friends with are her staff.
Oh.
So she's going to be a billionaire by the time she's 24 years old. And I don't know how one could emotionally have the emotional capacity to handle that. I mean, so she's got a best friend, but she's around her all the time, and it seemed like a very sad and lonely life.
Well,
so
have you noticed?
In the end, it's going to be the kids that had maybe no social media and they were 24 and got great jobs because they didn't have some sort of fingerprint. They'll be much happier in the end. So in the short term, it seems awesome to be Kylie Jenner with all these followers, but I can't imagine how she would have a private life and feel stimulated by anything when things are just given to you so easily.
Right, exactly. I hope there's like a pendulum swing. I think this happens. I sound so old now. I sound like my own parents when I was a kid. But the pendulum will shift because I'm hoping that everything will just explode or implode. As far as this way of thinking online and all of this comparison, shopping each other's lives from just what they post up with 100 filters on it. And then swing back the other way, I hope. Not that I don't love technology, because I do. And my daughter is actually really into engineering and coding and gaming, and I think that's fantastic.
That's great. That's awesome.
I love it, and that's her passion. So I want there to be room for her at these, in this area. But, I'm kind of hoping the reality of how online pictures and living is affecting our kids can swing another way. I'm hoping.
I think it will, by the way, because remember in the 80s and the early 90s, you wanted to go way out when you had your wedding. You wanted to have the biggest wedding, spend the most money, have so many people there. And now it's really chic to go elope or to only have 10 people there, to say you were amongst the 10 people and to post maybe one picture.
Yes.
So I think maybe like 5 years from now, it's going to be really in vogue to have, 4 followers and be super private about everything in your life.
That's so cool. In a world like that, I'm like daydreaming about that. That would be amazing.
Well, I think people just get burned out.
Yes.
That's why on my Instagram, I always do celebrity parody pictures, because
oh my gosh.
I try to do like a normal mom perspective, like, it is not normal to wear this outfit. It is not normal to have people like handlers around you. What is normal is to have 4 kids trailing behind you that you're screaming at, and you're dressed like a homeless woman.
But can you imagine being a celebrity, having cameras on you all the time? With I was just on the red carpet with Tori Spelling for the Big City Moms event that was out here in LA, and she had all 5 kids, including her new 5-month-old baby with her, who is super cute. And so you're supposed to manage all of this parenting, but then you also have cameras on you the whole time. And she handled it beautifully, but people would hate me because they would see all these moments and that we all have,
Me giving the kids $20, like, can you just be quiet for another 10 minutes? And none of the kids, my kids, would want to smile in the picture. Can I just tell you a fun fact? Next week, my guest is going to be Randy Spelling.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that.
I'm so excited.
Kate Casey has this amazing podcast, Reality Life with Kate Casey. If you follow her at Kate Casey on Twitter, you can get all the updates. And I have to do that because Twitter is like this way of getting lots of quick information fast. And I kind of need that to keep up with all the stuff that you're doing, because you're doing stand-up comedy with Heather McDonald. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be at the Pasadena Ice House on Saturday night. If you want to get out with your husband or your girlfriend and laugh and just pee your pants, come.
Yes! It doesn't take much for that to happen to me anymore after 2 children, but thank you for the offer.
You got it.
So Kate Casey is going to be Saturday, put on your calendar, in Pasadena at the Ice House. It's going to be hilarious. She's got the podcast. I think it's so cool that you talk to Jenny McCarthy all the time, because I want to be kind of her friend, but she didn't even know I exist. But so you're super cool.
It's interesting. So many people love her. It's really, interesting.
We just grew up with her. Yeah, we grew up with her, and now she's got the reality show with the Wahlberg thing, and it's just, she just seems so accessible, although she's not. People like me.
She's very self-deprecating.
Yes.
I think all women appreciate somebody who's self-deprecating.
Yeah, we do. And it's
We're
funny.
like, nobody has all the answers. Nobody. Not one person.
No, but we try, and we have parenting experts. And I actually have a really wonderful guest coming up next. Do you know Jill Simonian at Simonian?
I sure do.
Yes.
I sure do.
Jilly's great. So she's our CBS2 parenting expert and been a friend of mine for a long time. She wrote this Fab Mom book. And we're going to talk to her coming up in a few minutes about her book because I want everyone to go get it if they're pregnant or going to have a baby. So, Kate, you have a bunch of kids, 4 kids.
Yes.
And are you going to have any more anytime soon?
I would really like to have another baby. So if everybody could just say a couple prayers
Sure.
or notify me if they have a roofie dealer, and I can make that happen.
Just stop saying that on my show. Oh, you're so funny. Yeah, she would like to trick her husband into getting pregnant. So if anybody can help her out.
I really would like to have another baby because my youngest is turning 2 next week, and I cannot handle not having a baby. So if everybody wants to make me a happy woman, send me some good vibes.
Okay,
It'll be a geriatric pregnancy, but I want it to happen.
People, if you don't know, if you're a woman over the age of 30 and you get pregnant, the wonderful, ever so gentle and kind, a term for that is a geriatric pregnancy, and we're not joking. That is actually the scientific thing you learn in med school way of saying it. Your geriatric pregnancy if you're over 30. So welcome.
Amazing.
To the, they should give us an ARP card and discounts at IHOP while they're at it, because that's not cool.
I know. We should get placards for that.
Oh yeah, we should. We should get like front row parking and all kinds of things. If we're willing to have kids, after 30, after 40, hello, then we should get some extra bonus points. But
have you remember when you were pregnant and you used to pull up into the hospital and there were no pregnant parking spots, and then you would see like a middle-aged man walking out to this car and removing his car from the pregnant woman parking, and you thought to yourself, if there was a time that I wanted to commit a murder, it's right now.
All jacked up on hormones, you're like, ah.
Yeah. Oh, those people are the worst.
I commend all of the shopping malls, and Westfield does it here, which I love, is the shopping malls and the places that have put pregnancy and parent parking in front, like Babies R Us, things like that. You guys are amazing because we really need that. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so Kate, is there any dish coming up on some reality shows that your faves? I know you were just talking to the Real Housewives of OC. Any scoops coming up on TV? Yes.
All right, so tomorrow, I have a bonus episode out today, and I interviewed Carrie Duber from Real Housewives of Dallas. I talked about 90 Day Fiancé, and I tracked down a girl from Gallery Girls that was on Bravo like 5 years ago. She said basically she hates social media now. The experience was disastrous, and she hates having anybody know where she is. But, of course, I interviewed her. And then tomorrow, I've got a big interview. Megan Edmonds from Real Housewives of Orange County, she talks about how her marriage was impacted by the show, has been impacted, whether or not she talks to Heather Dubrow anymore, and more about her fertility, the fertility journey that she took on the show, and whether there are parts of that she wished she didn't film.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and I made the Manzo kids, Lauren and Chris, watch the Bachelor in Paradise premiere, so I can't wait to hear what they say, because they don't watch the show, so that's, as you know, my favorite.
Oh, I love it. I love that you're introducing these people. Until there's a restraining order against KKC, she will find you and interview you. You cannot hide. Thank you so much for filling us in on all things reality and telling us the behind the scenes of your awesome life that I just vicariously lived through. Go see Kate Casey stand up at the Ice House this Saturday in Pasadena, and hopefully we will have you on the Mom Show again soon. I would really love that.
Of course. Of course. That's crazy. I love it. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Bye. That's Kate Casey. You guys, Reality Life podcast is so hilarious. Even if you don't, and I clearly do not have my pop culture hat on. Like, I don't do enough reality watching, and I personally don't have the time. When I was feeding babies in the middle of the night, bottles, breastfeeding, we're talking about Breastfeeding Awareness Month, that's when you catch up on your reality shows. You TiVo'd everything. Remember TiVo? And that's when I caught up on everything. But nowadays, I don't have time, and it doesn't even matter because Kate's so funny when she tells me about shows I know nothing about They sound hilarious. So, Kate Casey, follow her at Kate Casey on Twitter. We'll be back next. We have Jill Simonian, thefabmom.com. She is the in-house parenting expert on our local CBS2. You've seen her on Wednesday nights with Pat Harvey and Friday mornings as well, weighing in on parenting issues. She's going to join the show coming up next. You're listening to The Mom Show with Kristin Cruz on KHTS, your hometown station.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top-quality musicals and plays. Located in Old Town Newhall, the CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go to canyontheater.org.
Choosing the right copy service was a top priority for John Hayes, owner of Hayes Plumbing in Santa Clarita. John's glad he called Sean Milligan at Professional Copy Service.
Well, once we found Sean at Professional Copy Service, we've been very, very happy. We started using him right after our factory warranty had expired on the current copier that we had purchased, and Sean and his guys have been far and above, better than the factory warranty service.
Professional Copy Service, 299-5756. 299-5756. The only authorized Canon dealer for sales and service in Santa Clarita for Santa Clarita, Professional Copy Service.
We try to keep everything we can in this valley. We shop local ourselves, and we try to use any local merchant as possibly can.
Call Sean Milligan at Professional Copy Service, 299-5756.
Call Professional Copy Service immediately. They'll save you a lot of time and get your office staff back up to full production.
Professional Copy Service, Santa Clarita's only authorized Canon office equipment dealership. Ask about our free on-site demos.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita. This Friday and Saturday, dine with the live musical styling of Lenny Dedman. Enjoy the old standards along with a mix of jazz and Latin music from the world-renowned musician as you dine on fresh seafood, mouth-watering prime steaks, artisan sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. In Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill. Delicious food seasoned with love.
KHTS, your hometown station.
And we're back with The Mom Show. I'm Kristin Cruz here at KHTS. Thanks so much again for joining me every Thursday from 12 to 1. It's kind of like the parenting lunch hour. And then, of course, tomorrow it's Alex Urbina from 12 to 1. So we kind of own this lunch area. If we only had like some like lunch cocktails or something, that would be really fun. Just kidding. I have a coffee right here. It's what I live off of. It's basically, instead of blood coursing through my veins, I think it's now coffee, actually, instead. And I have a woman on the phone that understands that completely because she's juggling it all. It's Jill Simonian from CBS2 and thefabmom.com. Thank you so much for coming in on the show today, Jill. I know how busy you are. Kids are back to school, craziness, but thanks for coming on for a moment.
Thank you so much for having me. I want more coffee now because my cup is empty. And when you said coffee, I thought, oh, man, it's empty.
It always sounds
thank you.
good.
This is really nice. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to talk to you. Jill and I have known each other for quite a while. We both come from hosting, and Jill comes from TV hosting for years. You've probably seen her on the Reels channel or on the Hallmark channel doing Home and Family in the morning. She was the resident mom there, and she created thefabmom.com, which is this amazing resource for moms with kids of any age or even pregnant mommies. And it's one of my favorite go-to sites, so you should definitely check it out. But she's also now the resident mommy over at CBS2, and she appears 2 or 3 times a week, I think, right? Jill, you're on, tell me.
It's twice.
Yeah,
yeah.
What is it?
Right now it's twice a week. So it's been twice a week for a little more than a year, almost a year and a half. So it's Wednesday nights on the 5 p.m. news and then Friday mornings at around 6:45 in the morning.
That's so early. Oh, my God.
I know, but it's not that. It's okay. I've sort of gotten used to it now. The first few months were a little brutal, but now I automatically wake up around like 4:30, 4:45 on Friday mornings because I've been conditioned, so I'm okay.
So crazy. It's so crazy. It happens when you do morning radio, morning TV. It happens. And then Wednesday nights on with Pat Harvey, who I love, who you know has been on CBS 2 for years. You've watched her. And the two of them talk parenting. And Jill, you have great guests on. And then also Jill does this great Facebook video with other behind-the-scenes parenting guests, which is great to watch on that CBS Facebook page. So in all her spare time, she also raises 2 kids and wrote a book. So, I don't know how you do it all, but I absolutely adore you and think you are fabulous. I'm telling you, it is coffee.
Now I'm ready to take a nap, though. All last year, I realized, oh, my gosh, what the heck did I get myself into? But now I'm ready to take a nap in between.
You deserve it. You deserve it. So let me tell you, we had Jill on because, we were talking, and August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And I do remember a couple of years back, Jill and I were both co-hosting an event during Pregnancy Awareness Month. It was the PAM event. And it was put on by a couple of really wonderful women and some great organizations. And I think the Pump Station is one of the major sponsors who we love. And we were talking about Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And I remember, Jill, and I can't remember when you told me this or exactly the context, but we were asked to write, I think we were both asked to write some blog posts or something about it. And we both actually opted out of breastfeeding as moms.
Yes.
We'll just lay it out there, So, and I know that's not maybe the most popular angle to take when we're talking about breastfeeding. It's usually about, helping moms breastfeed, and I get all that. But, I was actually you made me feel very at ease that you shared that you actually weren't a mom who breastfed. That actually, I felt like I needed to hear that, and I think other moms that choose not to or can't need to hear that too. And I know that's in the book, but that was something that really helped me as a mom, straight from you.
Well, and it's sort of your admission to the same thing at that time, and I remember that because it was so many years ago, but I remember it really clearly. We both sort of it was like we outed ourselves in front of the panel of experts that were talking about how beneficial breastfeeding is for so many reasons, which I absolutely agree with now that I'm educated about it. But it's like when we both said, "Oh my gosh, we didn't either," and it was like this whole thing. And then on top of it, the experts, especially from Pump Station in Santa Monica, the first thing she said was, "Hey, no shame," and that was it was like this moment of, oh, it's okay, we don't have to be closeted and ashamed, and in my book, so my book is for first-time pregnant moms, and it's called The Fab Mom's Guide: How to Get Over the Bump and Bounce Back Fast After Baby, but the hook is that the bounce back that I describe through the book, through my own personal choices and different bits of celebrity tidbits and things, the bounce back is not about the body. It's about making the choices that are right for you and help you in that first bumpy year of motherhood. And so opting out of breastfeeding for me was one of the major cornerstones of the choice that I made to get myself through that first time, that first year with the first baby. And this was the choice that I ended up making guilt-free, unapologetically, because it changed and colored the way I was, learning about becoming a new mom in a positive light. And so that's why I opted out.
Yeah, and I love the take that you take, Jill. I mean, with the Fab Mom, you think oh my gosh, she's fabulous, she's on TV, and she truly is all of those things and beautiful and wonderful, and you want her to be your BFF. But also, I love to remind people that FAB stands for Focused After Babies, right?
Yes. And it was funny because I tell people, and the true story is when I first was starting to blog in early 2011, late 2010. When I was first starting to blog, I thought, okay, I guess I better find a website. And so I was searching all these domain names, and nothing was coming up as being available. And the fabmom.com was literally the only thing that came up as available. So I just bought it, and I said, okay, I'll just figure out what to do with it later. And then as I started writing, I realized, oh my gosh, it's fun after baby, fit after baby, food after baby, and then the focused after baby came because I found myself writing about how I was trying to cope with the changes that new motherhood brings. And in my mind, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I got to stay focused. I got to stay focused and get through the bumps and the lumps and the changes and the challenges and all that. Stay focused. So that's where the focused after baby comes.
That gives me goosebumps when you tell that story too. It does, because that's the whole thing. You just have to go. We've talked about it on the Mom Show before too, about just going and just doing it. You may not understand how it's going to end up. You may not know what's going to be like when you cross. Just start somewhere and just start doing it, and then it organically builds. And I love how you found it, but it found you. It was meant.
Yeah.
It's just the coolest thing. Okay, and in the book, The Fab Mom's Guide, it's an adorable book too, by the way. It's at the Barnes and Noble near my house, and it's this beautiful white cover with this teal colored. I love the teal and the pink, and it's pops, and it matches the website, and everything is just great. I absolutely love it. But in there are actually a lot of little tips and tricks that you can do right now. So if you're an expecting mom, it's a great book to read before you have baby. And if you just had baby, you are going to notice that you're going to end up being landlocked on the couch with a sleeping baby on you that you can't move. So you should just have the book near you so you just grab it and read something, because you're literally stuck there. And those moments happen a lot. The baby fell asleep in the back seat. I need to pull over in the shade and sit here for 30 minutes and do nothing until the kid wakes up. This is your life. I'm giving you a glimpse into the future. So when you have this book next to you, you can flip through it. But when they do, can you give us some of your favorite fab tips that come out of the book? I know you may have seen Jill on The Doctors or on, so many different, she was on E! Last week. So you may have seen her talking about the book on different shows.
Yeah, that was fun. I was talking about the book. Okay, so my favorite fab tip, oh my gosh, there's a lot. Okay, so there's the fun, silly tips about keeping makeup in your kitchen drawer and having a huge mirror in your kitchen, because I found that I spent the most time in my kitchen with my small kids, and that was the only way that I could maybe not that putting makeup on is the most important thing, and trust me, 99% of the time when I am home, I have zero makeup on. I have zero makeup on right now. I'm not going to put any on today. But in the days of new motherhood, especially with toddlers, for me, putting on the lipstick or mascara just sort of changed my morning and, made me feel a little bit more productive. So I would talk about keeping simple makeup in your kitchen drawer and then having a mirror in your kitchen, because that way the kids could be in the kitchen with you as opposed to you having to go in your bathroom and put, all that. And then I also talk about, this is sort of not a dangerous one, but I also talk about making your bed before 10 a.m. And if you make your bed before 10 a.m., even with a baby in the house, a newborn, I guarantee you can spare the 1.5 minutes to make your bed. It will put your day in a positive motion, and even if you had a horrible junk day, at the end of the day, you're going to see the made bed and you're going to feel better about yourself. So that was one of the things. But one of the things that's probably, I guess, unpopular for me to say, the fab tip, is to get offline, because I found the more I scrolled Facebook, the more questions I saw in the mommy groups, the more, especially now in this day and age, with recent events, there's so much anxiety online about what's happening in the world, no matter what, side or anything, But the less I saw online, the happier I was with my kids, because anytime you get, it's proven that scrolling Facebook and Instagram makes us anxious, and that spills over with how we are with our kids. So I always say you have to block out times to get offline and stop going on social media. And it's hard, but I've been trying to incorporate that more in my life.
I remember, I think it was Ariana Huffington who said, and I think it was her, I'm not sure, but that said to actually take the Facebook app on your phone and move it to the second page, so that when you open your phone, it's not the first thing you see. And just that little thing, I did that, and it literally made life better. Looking at Instagram in the morning makes me happier than looking at Facebook in the morning. I don't know why. The photos are happier, but that was a good tip. Now, can I tell you what one of my favorite tips is that's from the book? Yeah. Because I saw Jill on with Sam Rubin, who I've known for many years, and is on KTLA 5. And you guys were talking about the underwear challenge. Now, ladies, brace
Oh,
yourself.
the underwear challenge.
This is the best thing, though. That's my favorite. Will you give us that one?
The underwear challenge. Okay, so we can all do the underwear challenge no matter how big our kids are. And we don't have to do it for 30 days, but we can do it in spurts. Like, I'm going to stay in my underwear only around my house for 15 minutes every morning and see my body as it is in my underwear and make the choice to love it no matter what.
Yes.
No matter how flat our breasts are, no matter how wrinkly other parts may be. It's about seeing yourself as you are, making the choice to say, you know what, this is me. I'm good and I'm cool. But the 30-day underwear challenge came when my first daughter was born. And I say it made me feel, I claim that spending 30 days with a newborn in your underwear as you're taking care of your newborn will give you more body confidence post-birth, because the more you see something that shocks you, the more desensitized you get, and the less you start caring about it, the more you see it. So with my first daughter, it was so hot outside. She was born in September. I mean, it was so hot, and my husband and I, we were living in an apartment at the time, and I remember thinking, like, you know what? I'm just gonna be in my underwear all day, and like my thighs looked weird, my ankles looked weird, all the usual things. Like, like your stomach looks weird. I had a C-section. It was all, and I just made the choice. I'm gonna be in my underwear at home with this brand new baby, and I'm going to choose to like not care about all the weird stuff that happened. And it really helped me feel more comfortable in my skin. Which is so weird and backwards, because at first when you start doing it, you feel weird, dumb, stupid, bad. It's like you look different. You're like, who is this? What happened? This is so awful. The scars, everything. But then eventually I found I got over it, and then you're like, okay, forget it. Who cares? Look at this baby. I'm a mother now. Like, get over this part of the program and get past it and look at the positive pluses. So that was the underwear challenge.
I love that. Get over the bump, bounce back fast. Jill Simonian, thefabmom.com on CBS 2. And I think that there may be, can I suggest Fab Mom underwear maybe as your next venture?
You know what? That's a really cute idea. I just need someone to like help me.
We'll get Lori
Hello?
over at Belly Bandit. We'll get her to help design.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Across the cheeks, it'll just say Fab Mom.
Yeah, it's Sheila. How are you?
That's so cute.
Sure. Awesome. No problem. I'll be holding. Thank you.
Yes. In fact, we just figured it out. What are we talking about? We are talking about, so if you're LA local, the last week there was this horrible video of these high school teens making all these racial slurs. They went to, I think it was Thousand Oaks High. I don't know if it was Thousand Oaks High. They lived in Thousand Oaks. So there was a video of them making all these racial slurs. And so we're going to be talking about when teens, go rogue and do wrong on social media and maybe tag some of their friends and inadvertently get those friends involved in the bad stuff that's going on social media, how a teen can then reverse and make more positive their online image, because colleges are looking at social media accounts along with the applications when you apply to college. So we're looking at improving teens' social media reputation, in time before they start applying to college.
Oh, I love that. Catch the Fab Mom tomorrow morning on CBS 2. Jill Simonian, I absolutely love talking to you every time, and thank you so much for always coming on my shows and my podcasts and just being a part of my life. I adore you. I think you're fabulous.
Thank you for inviting me. Honestly, truly, thank you so much.
I hope I get to see you soon. I'll be watching tomorrow morning.
I love listening to you.
I love you too. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Jill.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thefabmom.com, you guys. That's where you need to go to check out Jill's website. And, mom at any age, honestly, can get so much out of it. The book is The Fab Mom's Guide. It's for new and expecting moms. You can check it out. I see it at Barnes & Noble by my house, and I don't buy it because first of all, I have grown kids. I know I should buy it, but I want you guys to buy it, so I leave it there, and I always prop it up in the front of the books. Like when I go to the parenting book area, I take my friends' books and put them on the front. Because that's what girlfriends do. All right, we'll be back with more of The Mom Show. Again, I'm Kristin Cruz. This is KHTS, your hometown station.
Santa Clarita Philharmonic has begun its season of free concerts. The SCP is a non-profit community-based volunteer symphony orchestra comprised of local musicians from throughout the Santa Clarita Valley who are dedicated to providing quality classical music for the residents of the Santa Clarita Valley. Like the Santa Clarita Philharmonic on Facebook or visit santaclaritaphilharmonic.org for more information.
Canyon Country now has a one-stop printing shop.
Feathers, photo signs and printing.
Feathers, signs, banners, business cards, embroidery, photo restoration, picture framing, car wraps, all under one roof.
Transfer your old videos, slides, and 8mm movies to DVD.
Print custom t-shirts and jackets with your team or business logo.
Create a banner for your school.
It's all possible at Feathers.
Feathers. You've driven by them daily on Soledad across the street from the Edwards Theaters next to the coffee kiosk.
Discover Feathers, Canyon Country's one-stop printing shop.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. Formerly Donut Inn, California Bakery and Cafe is now open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving, anytime. Call us, 255-1254.
How smart is a Century 21 Troop Real Estate agent? They have more brain power than a barrel full of Einsteins and the gentle wisdom of a monk. They know Santa Clarita, your neighborhood, and they might even know your mom, so watch your language. They can simplify, multiply, and leap tall mountains of paperwork in a single bound. Plus, they know where to find the best cup of joe. This is who they are, this is what they do. Call Century 21 Troop Real Estate at 661-705-0700. That's 661-705-0700. Century 21 Troop Real Estate, smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Your hometown station.
We're back with The Mom Show. I'm Kristin Cruz. How are you today? All right, so we've checked in with a couple of my favorite moms, Kate Casey from Reality Life and Jill Simonian from CBS 2, The Fab Mom. You saw her last night on with Pat Harvey, one of my favorite news anchors of all time. I'm an LA local. I got my favorites. She's one. Sam Rubin's another. You've got yours, right? I know. And then tomorrow morning she'll be back on CBS 2 with her every Friday morning parenting segment. Right now we've talked. So another one of my most favorite ladies that I've gotten to meet by being on the radio and a mom blogger. And you can find out more about me on hometownstation.com. They put up my bio there. So you're like, who is this woman? Why is she on the radio? Well, I worked really, really hard to get on the radio. And then I did. I actually went to school for it and everything. I did the whole thing. I did, kids. And then I was on Coast 103.5 for over 6 years, hosting the Mark and Kristin show in the mornings. And I am raising two little ones at home, and I have the best gig ever, being able to take my mommy blog here to the hometown station at KHTS Live every Thursday, 12 to 1. And then it's a podcast, so you can share with all your mommy friends, so we can build this community, and eventually we'll just rule the world. That's the end goal. So right now on the phone with us, we have Sheila Morovati, who started this amazing organization called Crayon Collection. CrayonCollection.org is how you can find out more about it. And because this month we have a goal of collecting crayons and giving back to schools and students in need, Sheila's the best person to talk to about showing our kids how to live in gratitude and how to give back. Hey, Sheila, how are you?
Hi, Kristin. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, my gosh. I love talking with you. I am always ready to jump at the chance to be a part of any of the things that Crayon Collection does around the city, around Los Angeles, because I believe so much in what you do. And Sheila really helps bridge the gap for our teachers who are reaching into their own pockets, as my mother did as a school teacher for 35 years, to provide her students with tools that they need that they may not be able to have and bring to school from their homes. And Sheila created crayoncollection.org to help do that. Now, this month is important because it's National Crayon Collection Month for back to school. And we're really excited, Sheila. We actually have like a call out for you for what Sheila and I want you to go do this month and what National Crayon Collecting Month means. So, Sheila, fill us into what our goal is for August here.
Yes. We decided to call August National Crayon Collection Month because it was the perfect opportunity to really gear up for back to school and really get as many resources as possible for teachers out there so that they don't have to spend their own hard-earned dollars on school supplies, and also supporting the environment by not letting so many non-decomposable crayons go into the trash. Our solution is really easy. It's really simple. You just ask your local restaurants to participate. Maybe they'll collect for the whole month. Maybe they'll continue collecting after the month is over. Then you pick up those crayons and give them to a local school, or you even tell the local school to go pick them up from the restaurant. They love to give back, and since we've been doing this for so long, restaurants are really getting more and more aware of the idea of recycling crayons. So it's such a simple thing. And while you're doing that, you can kind of think a little bit about what these teachers are struggling with and how much money they actually need to spend. It's crazy now. It's at $900 a year on average. So at least we can do a little bit to augment that total. And I just feel like they're going in the trash anyway, these crayons, so we might as well divert them and put them into classrooms for good use.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about this. So you go out to dinner with your family. We just went to, it was my daughter's birthday, so she wanted to pick her place. So she picked CPK because she wanted to go there. And they give you the crayons and the little coloring menu for kids. And, half the kids, I think, that go to dinner now with their parents bring their iPads. So crayons may not be used at the table at that time because maybe the parents want a quiet dinner. But, even if you do take the crayons out and you're playing tic-tac-toe with your kids and they're drawing on their menus, which I think is really fun to engage with at dinner, you're leaving those crayons behind and you've used them for about, 5-10 minutes. What happens to those crayons? I mean, I never even thought about that until I met you, Sheila. And it didn't even cross my mind that they'd be wasted or thrown away in the garbage.
Kristin, the crazy thing is that we're one of the only countries in the whole world that does this. And while we, appreciate all those perks for living in the U.S. and how many kid-friendly, benefits there are, this is one of them that we really have to be thinking a little bit deeply about. They basically bring them out. The kids use them for a very short period of time because, in these type of kid-friendly restaurants, food comes out pretty quick. Many times the crayons don't even make it out of the box, and then they just get trashed. So along with all the food remnants, they go into the bin, and that's why I thought this isn't right. There's something wrong here, something extremely wrong, and we have to change our culture from being so wasteful and kind of not thinking about it. But the interesting part of it is anytime I tell somebody my idea, they're like, well, of course that makes sense. I never really thought about it. And that's why I get so excited for opportunities like this to share my story, because then we get to inspire so many other people to just pick those crayons up and drop them off at a school that needs them. And it is just about raising awareness to say, hey, this is a type of thing that we don't have to throw away. And many times I go to restaurants nowadays where there's a cup that goes from one table to the other and the crayons just stay in that, and then the next table gets to use them. And that's what most places do around the world. So
is that something that you can do if I'm listening right now and I do have some leftover crayons, or I'm going to start throwing them in my purse at dinner tonight when I go out to our favorite restaurant? Is that simple to just collect them in a bag and take them to a school? How would I do that as a parent?
So in our house, we have a little basket in our pantry by our kitchen, and each time we go out to dinner, I remind the kids that don't forget there's some kids that don't have any crayons. What should we do with these? And I have them do the work. So they pick up the crayons, they bring them home, they drop them in that little basket. Once our basket is full, we either consolidate it with the crayon collection we have at our school and then donate them, or we just donate our crayons directly to a school that, when we're driving through different areas in LA, there's so many schools that are really, really, really in desperate need. And so we have a school finder on our website. You just enter your zip code, and you'll find all these schools that are marked Title I. And Title I means that more than half of the school is living under the poverty line. So they really don't have the resources to get any supplies, and that's when they depend on their teachers. And sometimes the teachers can't even support the classroom. So that's kind of what happens. And then what we did was, to support the teachers even further, is now we created an art education program to go with these crayons so that the teachers can download it for free on our website, and they're all standards compliant thanks to Loyola Marymount University, their PhD program in education. And they did this for us, and we've even had amazing artists come up with projects which the students at Loyola also applied to the standards. And that way teachers can teach art again without having to spend even a penny extra. Their district has no more funding necessary for the art that we provide. Sometimes they use day-old newspaper and these free crayons, and that's the entire project. And it's amazing to see how the kids responded to it.
That's incredible. You can go to crayoncollection.org, and if you're thinking, well, those are huge organizations doing all of this, as just one person, there are 4 things you can do to make a change. Start a collection, find a school, make a donation, which is really, what every organization needs that's trying to do good for your community, and go green, which is something to keep in mind. And all of this plus more is on the website, plus that easy finder. It's really just a search your local schools, find out which one really needs your help, and that's how easy it can be. I love the component that engages our children in this, that shows that absolutely. That is so important to me. So real quick before we go, this Saturday is our call out, shout out to you. So we want you to just go out, ask, and look in your neighborhood. You can have your own crayon drive. If the kids wanted to do a lemonade stand, you could do a crayon drive stand instead. Something like that in your neighborhood will make a huge difference. And then there are 2 events actually happening. South Bay Mommies, which is a great group on Facebook. I encourage you, if you know anybody in the South Bay or you're there, at 9 a.m. at Co-op, they are actually collecting crayons. And then Hammer Museum is doing a great thing on Saturday, too. Tell me a little bit about that, Sheila.
Yeah, it's Hammer Museum's Family Day, which is a free event where you get to go out there, get involved, do some art. And what we're doing there is we're writing notes for the recipient children who are getting these new crayons from our donation. And we've had so many that we've been thinking, okay, well, what can we do to make it better? And so the kids write little crayon notes and say, have a great school year, or just enjoy the crayons, make good, great art, something like that. So they get to do that in the Chill Zone at the Hammer Museum this Saturday, starting at 11. And Laura's event is going to be at the Redondo South Bay Co-op, and it's at 9 a.m. So you can either go and drop crayons off, sort them with your kids, or come on over to the Hammer Museum and create some art with us.
I feel like if you want to find out more about this, there's so much information on crayoncollection.org. Just go to the website. Sheila's started something amazing. Congratulations on how much this has grown. I have watched it over the last few years really blossom, and so many people getting involved as families. And even these, hats off, kudos to IHOP. With 83 IHOP restaurants now, is that right?
Yeah, we just got 83 new ones on board with us in the LA area. They're all excited to help us out with these schools. And
amazing.
It's just a really fun and easy way for kids to engage, learn about recycling, learn about giving back, and really just you can kind of hand this whole project over to your children, and they can do the whole thing. And in fact, when we receive news that a kid-led crayon collection is coming our way, we know that it's going to be the biggest one. And these kids are just really passionate, and we're so grateful to all the volunteers around the globe who have helped us get to where we are. So thank you, Kristin, again for sharing our story, because it's people like you that make it possible for others to even learn about it.
You got it, Sheila. Love to you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. You guys, crayoncollection.org is where you want to go for more. We'll put all the links in these descriptions. Don't forget to follow me at Kristin Cruz on Twitter, and make sure at The Mom Show is always in your feed so you know what's happening next week. We'll be back for another live show, 12 to 1, right here on KHTS, your hometown station.
Are you looking for unique gifts and home decor plus the latest in women's fashions? Look no further than